Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by Apex Irons from Callaway.
Hey there, I'm George Savarickas, and this is your Golf Central update. Both Ryder Cup teams have been finalized, and on Sunday, European Ryder Cup captain Padraig Harrington making his 3 captains' picks to round out his 12-man squad. Harrington selecting Sergio Garcia, Shane Lowry, and Ian Poulter, absent Justin Rose. Harrington stopped by Golf Today to talk about some of the difficult choices that he had to make.
And we are joined by European Ryder Cup captain, 3-time major champ Padraig Harrington. Padraig, it's great to spend some time with you. You know, time after time we hear from captains how difficult it is to make those wild card picks and making the phone calls to those left off the team, prideful men, in some cases major champs like Justin Rose. How difficult was that process for you?
Yeah, we at this stage, we know it's going to be difficult. It's when you take the job as captain, you know there's always going to be a couple of phone calls that are difficult, and you kind of have to put up with that. You're going to have to do it. I can tell you it's tough to do it. It's disappointing that I couldn't pick Justin Rose, but that's just the way it is. You know, Alex Noren had a very strong case. He played great at the end of the season. Henrik Stenson played great at the end of the season, but I suppose most of the focus seems to be on Justin Rose. And yeah, on one side, it is disappointing that you can't have him in the team. And on the other side, you got to go, wow, I must have a good team.
Padraig, I always think about Tom Brady and how he somehow finds himself in the Super Bowl each and every year. How is it that every Ryder Cup, every single time we have a Ryder Cup, the Europeans somehow find a way to be considered the underdog? How can you guys always pull this off?
Well, yeah, it's pretty clear this time. If you look at the world rankings, you know, if a computer, or if it was a computer generating the result this week, you know, the Europeans needn't turn up. But there's more to it than that. And, you know, we pull together, we get the most out of our team, which is slightly different this time because, you know, I've seen teams in the past where, you know, players would be hidden in the team in Europe. This is a very balanced European team. You know, probably my toughest job as captain, you know, is to try and balance out the fact that I've got 12 good players and no obvious candidates in terms of, you know, they're good foursomes player, 4-ball players. They're good ball strikers, so they fit everything. So it's not a situation of, you know, one guy's just not up for it and I'm going to sit him down for as much as I can, which might have happened in the past. You know, now it's a very strong, balanced team, and everybody has a want and a will and a right to play every match. But that's not possible, obviously. So the captain has to make the hard decisions to, you know, sit down a few players.
Padraig, I'm curious, how much does being a captain allow you to appreciate in a new way the players you've competed so fiercely against? Sergio Garcia, for example.
Yeah, you definitely see a different side of things. You know, on that side, you've got players who come to you and talk to you and tell you about themselves, let you in, which they'd never do if you were competing against them. You know, so that has been probably one of the more interesting sides to it. That players are very open, you know, and they give a lot more when you're the captain than obviously if you're the competition. It's quite stern. And yeah, myself and Sergio would be an interesting case. We've obviously been competitors nearly all our career. We well publicised. We wouldn't necessarily have got on. The Ryder Cup is bigger than that, and I think it's probably been good for both of us that you know, the understanding. I've always appreciated Sergio's golf, how good he is, and what a player he is. I've always seen how good he is in the Ryder Cup and what he gives in a team environment. So it was probably easier for me as captain, but I know Sergio does a job. So definitely it's helped our relationship, and we've got a common goal and we're working together for that.
Padraig, I remember we were chatting with Katrina Matthew on the show after the European Solheim Cup team picks happened, and she admitted the relief that comes post-picks. How much of the stress of your job as captain is lifted when the picks are finally done, and where does that focus go to?
Yeah, I would agree with that. That, you know, up until you actually have your final 12 players, there's options, and the more options you have, obviously the more doubt. And this is the one reason, you know, I wanted 3 picks just to narrow down those options. And clearly now I've got my 12 players. We've done a lot of work behind the scenes. We know a lot about the partnerships and the personalities at this stage. Now with just 12 players in the mix, we can start to sort out, who we feel is going to play foursomes and fourball and what partnerships they are. But definitely, there is a sense of relief, but there's more purpose now. We have a clearer goal ahead of us.
Speaking of clear goals, like the Solheim Cup, the number of European fans at Whistling Straits is likely to be pretty small. In what ways will that simplify the mission and maybe allow the team to come together even more?
I like where you're going with keeping bringing up the Solheim Cup. Yeah, look, I watched it and I have learned from it, and I would definitely take some pointers from Katrina, and I've talked to Katrina, and yeah, we're going to try and feed off that, the inspiration of the Solheim Cup, and certainly look to learn from what they did.
On the PGA Tour, Will Zalatoris has been named the 2021 PGA Tour Rookie of the Year without even being a full-time member. Zalatoris finished runner-up in the 2021 Masters, went on to grab 8 top 10 finishes, 14 top 25 finishes, and 25 starts. He spoke with our Damon Hack and Shane Bacon earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, this was something that I was kind of joking about, that I didn't even really have on my radar as a goal, just because I thought I was going to be spending 2 years on the Korn Ferry Tour. And, super thankful, obviously, to Josh and Troy and everybody on my team for, believing in me and pushing me to get to this point. But, yeah, I mean, if, I said this a lot, especially over kind of the major run that I had, that if you told me I was sitting in this position a year ago, I probably would have thought you were a little crazy.
Let's talk about those majors, Will, because some players just don't seem to bring their best. Your game seemed to fit major championship venues perfectly. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think it's two parts. I think one of it is that, my ball striking, the harder the golf course, the better off I am, especially U.S. Opens. I've always said that my game is best fit for a U.S. Open. And, the other part, too, is that, the golf courses, again, are just so hard that, making a mistake, it's just kind of like, you're standing on a par 3 that's 250 yards, like number 17 at Kiowa, all carry over water. I mean, you just got to step up and hit a golf shot. And, I think that, leaving nothing out there and, is something that, it's almost freeing in a weird way, even though that obviously the courses are way harder.
Will, how would you grade your first full season on the PGA Tour?
Yeah, that's a good question. I learned a lot. Let's put it that way. I would have loved to have got my first victory, but I learned so much, especially over the last probably 4 to 5 months. Really just how to be a professional and, week in, week out. And, the preparation's a little bit different than it is with the Korn Ferry, especially just because, the mistakes are that much more magnified out here with the tougher golf courses. But, obviously it's really awesome to be Rookie of the Year, but the hunger is definitely still there.
Look at the recent Rookie of the Years on the PGA Tour last season, Scotty Scheffler, and all he's done is, play his way onto the U.S. Ryder Cup team next week at Whistling Straits. Remember, the gold medalist Xander Schauffele was a Rookie of the Year, won 2 times his rookie season on the PGA Tour. Crazy to think that was 5 seasons ago for Xander Schauffele.